Hello, everyone. It is Everything Phoenix YouTube Live. We are just that. We are live, and it is 2023. It's a new year, and we are ready to rock and roll, guys. Thank you for joining our YouTube Live. And as always, if you could put a comment below or comment live, actually, even better, let's have a two-way conversation about what's going on in the marketplace here today, what's going to happen in 2023, because it is a weird market out there. I'm not sure where you're at in the country right now, but if you're in Phoenix, the housing market, and you follow it closely, actually, you don't need to, because you just follow this channel and you'll be well informed. You follow this closely and you're like, man, what's going on? Are people going to buy? Are people going to sell? What's going to be the dam that breaks, the chink in the armor, right? That gives way to get something going, guys, because demand is at pretty much an all-time low for this time of year. Now, seasonally, we all know, because if you watch the channel, you know, you're informed of the marketplace, but seasonally, we know that it is going to increase naturally, but and we do expect that. Yet at the same time, the increase will be needed. At the same time, it is going to be minimal compared to what we have experienced in the past. So we're going to dive in as always, and we're going to show you the stats. And we're all about facts over fiction, right? Data over drama, my two favorite sayings. So you're fully informed on really what's going on in the marketplace, and not just taking, you know, Johnny down the street's opinion for what you think you should do with your hard-earned money when it comes to buying a house now or selling a house now. Because at the end of the day, even though a house you live in is not really an investment, it is an asset, and it ultimately will pay you money when it is time to sell, or potentially even if you want to pull some money out to do something else with it. And hopefully it won't be to buy a boat, right? It's going to be for something good if you pull money out, like maybe paying for your kids' college, or maybe it's going to be for a investment piece of property, which we would love to help you out if you're thinking about investing in the Phoenix area. All right, guys. But by the way, we do have a network all over the country. So if you are looking to invest in other places, we'd be happy to help you out and find you a good qualified agent in that area. And if you're looking about investing into commercial real estate, we have a phenomenal commercial team that does operate nationwide. So let us know, guys. We are trying to be your one-stop shop to get you connected with the right professionals in your area. But let's jump in, guys. As you know, I always like to screen share with you guys. And so we're going to jump in here, and we're going to talk about a few things. So I'll save that one for later, you know, a little sneak peek there, right? But thank you for joining us, guys. And here we go. Are we going back to a seller's market? What? Yeah, I mean, it's, I'm not going that bold with it, right? But look at the trend here, guys. You can see right now that we follow the Cromford Market Index. And as you know, the Cromford Market Index always gives, the CMI gives a rating for what is a balanced market and what is a seller's market. As you can see right now, a balanced market is between 90 and 110, and a buyer's market is below 90. A seller's market is above 110. So right now, guys, this breaks down the major suburbs and cities in the greater Phoenix area. And you can see right now, guys, if you follow this, you know that everything's red for the most part, right? The last several months. And we've seen an increase of green, green, green. And now look at this. This is unbelievable. Now we were doing this. We were at a bottom basement to an extent. But look at this, guys. There's only one city right now that actually is in the red in terms of where it's trending. Now, you look at Buckeye, for example, at the very bottom here, it is green. At the same time, it's 51.1, right? So it's pretty low, right? That is an extreme buyer's market. So again, looking to invest, looking to buy a house to move into, and you want to, you know, throw around your weight on the negotiating table, Buckeye's your place, right? Maricopa's right behind it, and so is Queen Creek. So we'd be happy to help you out and find you the right property that you can really get a good deal on in those areas, because you have all the leverage, okay? Then you have Fountain Hills, which has consistently led the top area of our city when it comes to the most strong seller's market. I mean, it flat out is a seller's market with 169 CMI score. Now, there is not a lot of inventory. This is the thing, right? Not a lot of inventory in places like Fountain Hills for sale, and because demand's already low, that's why you have such a high score. But you see the higher end areas of the market in Phoenix are the ones that are carrying the weight when it comes to having the best results right now in the marketplace, right? If you're a seller, right? In terms of values holding. So that's good, guys. And so this is data right here. So if the media is telling you that, oh my goodness, Cave Creek is crashing, that's not true. Look, here's the data right here from December 29th. All right. So that is a good sneak peek to take a look at. So And I love this right here. Look at all that green. That is a welcome sight. We all have short memories, right? That's why that was the tag here for today's YouTube video. But guys, just I don't know, 9 months ago it was gangbusters, and we were hoping for some red, right? Because it was going up too far, too fast, and now we got green again. But it's welcome because we had a decelerating market for such a long time. All right, let's hop over to a couple more things. I'm going to show you this, guys. This is intriguing, right? So January 2023 observations from the Cromford report, which we absolutely love and get our data from. For our local market here, you can see the overall transaction counts are down, obviously, right? Now, the overall median sales price was up to $450,000 from December 2021. So that's the one thing. If you see the downs here, it is up, guys. So from December 2021 till today, overall, Maricopa County median sales price is still up 4%. Let me repeat that, because we've been in the accelerating market for quite some time. But we had so much appreciation in the early part of 2022 that since December of 2021, Maricopa County is still up 4% to today. Intriguing, right? The new home construction market is killing it. I think the stat was they're up 17. Oh, here it is right here. They're up 17% since December of 2021. New construction, median sales price up 17% from December 2021 still. It's severely outperforming the residential resale market right now. So the builders are got to be happy about that, right? Now look at what I have in here in blue. They're still seeing median prices that are 17% higher than a year ago, whereas resale median prices are lower than last time of this year. That's what we just said, right? About the new construction. Many resale agents are probably not aware of how much better the new home market is performing compared to the resale they are experiencing. Now, that all being said, home builders are still retrading right now, guys. Okay, they are doing that. I can't say every single community across the board is doing that, because that's probably not true, because there are some markets like Fountain Hills that are obviously performing better than others. But generally speaking, right now, if you're under contract, and we have several of those clients right now that work with the Cook & Associates here, where we had someone under contract for quite some time when the market was different than it is today. So right now, I would highly suggest to call your real estate agent, whether it's us or someone else, if you're under contract with a new build, and get the word out on this, guys, to any friends that you know or people you know, because the builder may not bring this up, and they should be retrading with you. They should be bringing the price down to market if you've been under contract before the market turned. All right, so make sure you keep that in mind. All right, new homes now represent over 29% of the market. This is the highest market share that new home construction has had right here. So I'm reading, guys, since 2008. Interesting. All right, now let's talk about iBuyers. The excessive inventory held by iBuyers has reduced over the past 6 months, but remains higher than they would wish. Here are the ARMless MLS listing counts for Opendoor specifically, right? And you can see right here, the inventory count is obviously going down, which is good. I mean, they were just giving homes away for the most part, right, in the Q4 of 2022. And it's continuing to decrease as they exit that inventory, because they're not buying near as many homes, not even close, right? But this is good. This is coming down, but they're still giving good deals away, guys. If you are looking for a deal and it just happens to be an Opendoor property, 2 thumbs up, right? You should be able to get a good deal. Make sure you talk to an agent that knows how to work with them, because there's a certain way they will work their pricing structure. They're not just typically going to give you, $100,000 off the price without doing some finagling, right? So let us know if you have any questions about that. All right. Now let's hop over here to the commentary. This is always good stuff, guys. I won't bore you with the whole thing, right? Because we want to be hard hitting and we want to be impactful for your time, because I know your time is valuable. But in blue, I have some information here. There are lots of small numbers of December totals, okay? I'm going to read this because this is important. We have very low volumes of closings because both buyers and sellers are discouraged. Guys, consumer confidence matters. It matters, and there's always a lag. Monthly sales are down 45% from this time last year, and listings under contract are down nearly 42%. The number confirms that demand is very weak, not just kind of weak, very weak, okay, compared to normal for the time of the year, right? Because we talked about January being the ramp-up time here, right, for buyers, and even weaker compared to the strong demand 12 months ago. However, weak demand does not necessarily make a market crash. This is the problem with most of the media, okay? Excess supply is what really drives prices down hard. This is what we saw in 2006 through 8. But in 2023, supply is low and getting lower. It is much higher than this time last year when it was abnormally low, but it is still a long way below normal. Guys, that is a heck of a commentary. I love what they said there because it's so true. So let's talk about that for 2 seconds, right? Everyone thinks that the market's crashing. Why? Because there's not a whole lot of deals, and the deals that are being done are causing a deceleration of median and average sales prices across the board for the most part, right? But that doesn't make a market crash. Okay. Now I was lucky enough, I guess that's the way you gotta look at things, right? Lucky enough to be in the real estate game, the industry, as a new licensee in 2006, right? I got licensed in 2005. Been doing this, what is that? I don't know how many years that is, 17, 18 years now. And I saw what was going on there, and that was a completely different game, as I know we've talked about on our show here, right? So weak demand does not cause a market to crash. Oversupply, excess supply will. And we don't have that, guys. In fact, as you know, transaction counts are down primarily because not just demand is weak, because there is very little supply to choose from. Now, there's still about 19,000 homes in the market. In fact, I'm going to share my screen here. We're going to go over that right now, okay? Because I think it's important to know. But right here, you have 18,236 homes on market right here. You can see is the general snapshot, which is, I think, important to take a quick look at. Look at the transaction count. They said it's down 45%, right, from this time last year. Well, that's about right. You got 4812 right here, sales per month right here, okay? And last year, 8208, okay? So 45%, there you go. It's down. So transaction count is what matters. And guys, I know some of the other trades, the other professions are going to start to feel this, right? Because how many people are job dependent on the real estate industry? A lot, right? I mean, think about it. If a house doesn't sell, then there can't be any staging. There can't be any home inspections. There can't be any lending. There cannot be closings with title companies. There cannot be contractors and all the drywall and the painters and the roofers and the plumbers and all those people that do make money typically when a real estate transaction occurs. So it's not just realtors. It's not just lenders. There's a lot more people that it just domino effects. So having a high transaction count does matter. It does help. Well, right now you have a lot of people who have a 3% mortgage, and so they're not going to sell unless they absolutely have to. So the key then will be, what does the Fed do with rates in 2023? I'm glad you asked. We're going to cover that here in just a second. But let me share my screen and go back here because we have more to chat about really quick. Okay, let me go back to the commentary right here. Oh, I just mentioned this, but we're going to talk about this more. We are still dependent on the whims of the Federal Reserve. If they continue to push the federal funds rate higher in an attempt to curb inflation, then mortgage rates could go higher too, putting a quick damper on any recovery in demand. However, if the 30-year fixed mortgage rate stays between 6 and 6.75%, okay, then we should have confidence, consumer confidence, that the housing market can operate normally at this level. Prior to 2009, anything under 7% was considered a low interest rate, and rates under 5% were unheard of, right? So you guys, those of you who are around, that is true. So in this situation, they're just saying that rates don't have to go back down to 5% or 4.75%. They're making the case that based upon the data alone, that if it stayed between 6 and 6.75, but there's some consistency with that, and they don't yo-yo around like they have been doing, then we could be potentially returning to a true balanced market where people now will buy and sell, and there'll be higher transaction counts, right? That's encouraging. That's what we need. Let's see what happens there. And let's just go back here, guys. I want to talk about this real quick, the annual sales rate. So again, to this hammer the same point home of lack of transaction count, you can see right here that it says, okay, right there, the annual sales rate of 80,509 transactions for 2022. Now let's compare that to 2021, which is a little bit of an odd year. Let's be clear, right? 104,000. Okay, 2020, 99,000. And then you get to 96, you get to 93, get to 93, 87. So 2016 at 87,000 right here, okay, is what it says in gray. You know, it says 83,865, but it says 87,000 up there in 2016. That's about very similar to where we're at in 2022. So very similar market. Now, what changed from a real estate agent standpoint? What changed is the fact that there are a lot more people trying to sell real estate and jumped into the real estate agent industry. Okay, so there'll be a lot of people that don't do it the right way, and most likely will have to probably exit the industry. But it feels like there's a lot less out there because there's simply a lot more people that are trying to find and help people looking to buy or sell real estate. But you have the same transaction count now that you did in 2016. And since 2016, you have a lot more new builds, right, that were built. So technically, it is unfortunately a lot less than 2016 because there's a lot more homes that are out there that could sell that just aren't transacting, right? Okay. Now, speaking of what will the Fed do, let's check out mortgage rates, okay? I have it highlighted here for you in blue. Mortgage rates still in good shape after the Fed minutes. That came out yesterday, guys. And the Fed had their minutes, and based upon what they say, the market moves, right? Well, they had their minutes, and based upon what they were saying, mortgage rates still stayed in good shape. Now, you can see on this graph, I love this graph, right? You can see that, obviously, you can see where rates were back in 2016, 2018. Now, they were really low in 2021. Should have been higher. That's water under the bridge. But you can see right here, okay, that was December 12th. That was around the time that the Fed announced that the rate was going to be, federal funds rate was going to be increased by 50 basis points. And of course, that happened, but rates actually went down that same day. But then you look at where they're at now, and they've yo-yoed back a little bit, and they went back up. And currently, you can see a 30-year fix on this chart right here is 6.5%. 15-year at 5.84, not bad on 15-year. Then you got your ARM rates and your jumbo rates. Jumbo rates, guys, really good at 5.7. Pretty good, okay? If you're buying something over the conforming loan limit, all right? A higher priced home. CPI, okay? We all know what that is. We talked about this. I always go to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, but let me jump over here, and let me actually show you what the graph is doing, right? CPI is continuing to go down and decrease and somewhat stabilize, right? This is good. Now, we're not really feeling it necessarily yet at the grocery aisle. Obviously, gas is starting to go down for the most part. For those of you who drive a Tesla or electric car, you might not even know what the price of gas is, right? So good for you. But it's going down, I think, right? And you have consumer goods and things like the grocery store that are bread, milk that are just really, really expensive still, right? I mean, Starbucks, right? I got 3 coffees the other day, and not for all for me, just to be clear. And it was $22 for 3 coffees. So this inflation is crazy, right? Let's see what the prediction is. I highlighted this in blue for you too, so we can cut right to the chase. Different agencies' predictions differ, of course, putting U.S. CPI inflation within the range of 7 to 8.1% in 2022. And it's currently at like 7.1, I believe we just saw. And around, here you go, check this out, 2.8 to 3.5 in 2023. Okay, whoa. Is that true? Well, it's a prediction. I have my crystal ball, you probably have yours, but a lot of agencies are in that range of 2.8% to 3.5, meaning that this graph right here is going to continue to go that way, which would be great for everybody. Let's hope it happens. But what's the one thing that could stop that? Okay. Or there could be several things. What's one thing? I'm glad you asked, because according to Forbes here, and this is not just Forbes news, this is news everywhere, our Congress just recently decided to pass a $1.7 trillion spending bill. And guys, so what that does is obviously that injects a lot more money into the economy. Now, let me ask you a question as a normal person, let's say that you are, and like I am. And is that going to help inflation or make it more challenging to curtail and get it under control? Jeopardy? No. Yeah, you got it. It's going to make it more challenging, right? More difficult. So why would our government do this? I have no idea, guys. I have no idea. But they did. It passed. $1.7 trillion more dollars are now injected in the economy when we already have a very low unemployment rate, and you have signs driving down any road in America that says now hiring. So I don't know what is going on here and why that is the case. And then if you go and actually, what's in it and look at what's in it, it's going to make you want to pull your hair out, right? There's probably some very noble things that are in this bill. Let's be clear. You got to have a government to some extent, and you have to have public services and all this stuff. Yeah, if you actually go in here and look at kind of what they're spending, it's going to be wild, right? It's going to some of the stuff. So, there's obviously assistance with utility bills. There's changes to retirement regulations. There's additional funding for assistance in homeless and affordable housing, increased funding for environment, and so on and so forth. But if you really dive into this, guys, it's some crazy stuff in here. Nonetheless, it passed, and nonetheless, it's in that money is going to be injected into the economy, not all at once, right? but it's going to be coming into the economy. So hopefully that doesn't make the Fed's job harder now to keep inflation under control. Because guys, if inflation starts to go the other way, guess what the Federal Reserve is going to do in February or in March or whenever they meet in February next? They're probably going to raise rates. And that's not good for anyone who has their income attached to the real estate industry as a whole, right? So it remains to be seen. So we'll see what happens. Okay, but that's where we stand currently in our economy. All right, let's jump over here. Phoenix led the nation in inflation. Okay, you guys know I love the Phoenix Business Journal. It is a great source of good information, localized too, especially, right? Phoenix led the nation in inflation in 2022, but rise may slow in 2023. Now, that's going to follow what the prediction for the national economy is, right? So that's good. But did you guys even know that Phoenix led the nation in inflation in 2022? So our gallon of milk is actually a little more expensive than most other people across the country. Now, I know from a gas standpoint, I went back to Nebraska for the Christmas holiday, right? Visit my family. So kudos to anybody who, likes Nebraska, right? And the gas was like, I don't know, $2.98 or something, right? And I know it's not that cheap in Phoenix, right? I think when I left for Christmas, it was like, $3.98 or something, or $3.95, about $1 more expensive. So maybe that's inflation. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's logistics of it's always about $1 more than other places in the country. But nonetheless, the data is that Phoenix had the highest inflation. Okay. And then you see right here, the next highest metro areas were Atlanta, which posted 10.7 increase for the year after our 12.1% increase, followed by Tampa, St. Petersburg at 10.5, and Miami at 10.1. Now, I think a lot of this had to do with obviously somewhat of the housing, right? Because obviously so many people flooded to Arizona and Florida. And so obviously price increases on houses as well as rental prices because of that influx of demand and population growth did play a role too as well, and that plays a big sector. Prices were up across the board with higher prices for fuel, food, clothing, and more. Arizona had the biggest increase came in the price of gas. Okay, so there's my answer, which is up 41% from October 21 to October 22. Guys, 41%. That's not normal, okay? And then this goes on to be actually very informative, right? Gas and food prices. A gallon of gas costs as much as $5.39 a gallon in June, okay? And then falling after the summer peak to $3.36, right? So that's good. It's coming down, right? It's coming down across the board. So hopefully Arizona gets in line with where we see the rest of the country going with CPI, inflation in general, going negative, guys. And if that happens, guess what happens? More people have money for other things like their mortgage payment. More people have money for their rent payment and things of that nature, which hopefully will mean that they can go out there and they can feel more comfortable buying a house or renting a house potentially, right, in Phoenix, not having to move out of state to go do so, or somewhere in a smaller town that's cheaper, right, than Phoenix is, right? Okay, so going back here to this article, 3 years of increases, the latest surge in, I think this is kind of important to note, the latest surge in inflation capped 3 years of steady increases according to the BLS. It said inflation in Phoenix rose by 0.7 from December of 19 to 7.1 from 20 to 21. And then, of course, it spiked even more since then. Okay. But this is the good news. Silver lining. I think we're going to see inflation rates come down over the next year pretty dramatically, he said. And that'd fall in line with the national prediction as well, guys. So that's all good stuff. Okay. Now, let's jump over here to something that I thought was kind of interesting, right? Because we're all about empowering you with the data and knowledge to go out there and make smart, informed financial decisions, okay? The IRS, which we all just love so much, the IRS. We love the IRS, right? It's probably the most hated agency or business or organization probably in the country, right? I would probably imagine if someone took a poll. I don't know, but maybe I would say that's probably not one of the top 5 favorites. IRS increases business mileage. This is going to be good for a lot of people, though, so thank you, IRS. The IRS Revenue Service has bumped up the 2023 optional standard mileage rates that drivers can use to alleviate the cost of using an automobile for business, charitable, and medical or moving expenses. The standard business rate effective January 1st has risen 3 cents, hopefully trying to cover the cost of inflation, right? To 65.5 cents per mile driven for the use of a car, van, pickup, or panel truck. Now, a lot of people watching this could be in a self-employment business or industry like real estate or others. This is good, guys. Bigger write-off. And then therefore, hopefully, because you're paying more at the pump, right? You're paying more for a new car or a new service vehicle. So going back to the article here, that represents the third time in the past 12 months, the IRS has increased the mileage rate, having bumped it up 4 cents in June of 2022 to a rare mid-year price hike, right? That was fueled by the high price of gas. And it was up, then 2.5%, or 2.5 cents per mile back in January 2022. All right. All rates apply to electric and hybrid electric vehicles, as well as gasoline and diesel powered vehicles. So even if you have a Tesla or an electric car, you do get the same mileage write-off, which is great. Okay. A reimbursement rate for mileage related to medical or moving expenses for qualified active duty members of the armed forces is 22 cents per mile, unchanged from the new rate set in June 2022. Also unchanged from last June is the 14 cents per mile driven on behalf of charitable organizations. So guys, I'm not sure if you're aware of this. Hopefully you have a good CPA, and you were. But if you're obviously a veteran or in the armed forces, or you have a charitable organization, there is a write-off for that as well. Taxpayers have the option of calculating the actual cost of using their vehicle rather than using the standard mileage rates. Hopefully you caught that. What that means is that you actually have a cost for running your vehicle, right? Oil changes, car washes, all the repairs, tires, brakes, whatever it may be on a car. You can actually, if that sum total is higher than what the business mileage was that you drove times that 50, I already forgot what it was. 59, what was it, guys? 65.5 cents. Then you can go ahead and use the higher of the two, which is great, guys. It's nice that the IRS allows us to do that. So that it was just an informative, I think, article that everyone should know about, especially if you're in a self-employed business where you can do some write-offs, right? Okay, this is kind of interesting. All right, I'm going to share my screen here because we always like to do something fun towards the end of our YouTube live, guys. We always go about 30 minutes or so, guys. We'd like to do something fun here. And Tempe remains Zillow's top U.S. college town in 2022. So how do we attach fun in real estate? Well, that's how you do it right there. Okay, Arizona State University. For those of you who don't know, Arizona State is located in Tempe, Arizona, which is by Sky Harbor Airport and on the Phoenix border and Scottsdale border. Okay. For a second straight year, Tempe was ranked as the most popular college town by America by residential real estate company Zillow. Now, why is Zillow doing this? That's interesting, right? And of course, we're going to do a video. Some of you guys have been asking for this, guys. We're going to do a video on ASU. And is Phoenix really a college town? Interesting, right? We'll do a video on that coming up. Be on the lookout for that on our YouTube channel, Everything Phoenix. Okay. In addition, Tempe has one of the largest populations of undergraduate and graduate college students. Okay. Coming in after Tempe were Smithfield, Rhode Island, home of Bryant University, Bowling Green, Ohio, for Bowling Green State University. And neither one of those towns were in the top 3 last year. So go figure, right? Kansas suburb ranks at the top, winning the overall most popular place in the nation was Prairie Village, Kansas, a suburb of Kansas City, one of the many Midwestern cities to be ranked. Okay, and they attributed, lower housing cost burdens in those cities. Okay, so guys, it's not about partying when you go to college, right? It's about cost of living, your experience when you actually get your education and go to the library, right? By the way, does anyone ever do that on a college campus anymore? I mean, you got Google now, right? So does anyone actually go to the library? I'm so old. When I was in college, you went to the library because Google really wasn't a thing, I don't think, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, right? So that's interesting, though. If someone could comment below, please let me know. Does anybody actually go to the library when they're on a college campus? All right. So Abby made a comment here. Happy New Year. Are you able to send monthly market reports that sums up all of this Cromford information? Absolutely. I mean, in fact, we put out that once a month. So if anybody would like to DM me on social media, you can find us at TikTok on Everything Phoenix or on Instagram at Kelly Cook Homes. Facebook as well. Cook and Associates, we would be happy to send that out to you. You can email me at info@cookandassociatesaz.com. Okay, cookandassociatesaz.com, info@. And we will be happy to send that monthly market report to you. And guys, it's awesome. It is awesome. It's broken down at a very high level. Okay. We also have another comment here from Miriam. Miriam, thank you so much. IRS and AZ Department. Miriam, I love that comment, right? So the AZ Department of Revenue is right up there with the IRS, right? Yeah, sorry guys. I don't think I disagree with you on that comment, Miriam. Lori, Lori's commenting here, guys. Thanks for the comments popping in here. Love Tempe, great place to hopefully buy an investment property someday. I would agree. The central location is awesome for Tempe. You have ASU, you have a lot of industry there, right? Some headquarters, right? You have the corporate, not the corporate, excuse me, but the operational headquarters of State Farm Insurance right there now in Tempe. Corporate headquarters are still in Illinois. You have Carvana. I mean, you have so many things in Tempe that it's pretty crazy. In addition to that, it's centralized. So you are just minutes away from Old Town Scottsdale, Sky Harbor Airport, Paradise Valley, the Southeast Valley with Chandler and Gilbert, and of course to the south, the wonderful place of Ahwatukee. And if you can spell it correctly, I will give you a thumbs up. All right, but if you can spell it correctly, Ahwatukee, right, south part of Phoenix, put that in the chat in the comments, right? I would love to see that. And so Tempe's great. But what keeps people away from Tempe, guys, is the fact that it's just older. Some people are scared of older construction, and you shouldn't be. Older construction can be just fine if it's remodeled correctly. Not the lipstick on a pig type situation, right? You got to be careful of those flippers that will go in and just turn a property, do all the cool, fun stuff, countertops, cabinets, flooring, but not hit any of the stuff that really might need it behind the walls, right? Plumbing, electrical, roof, AC, all the mechanical stuff and things of that nature. So beware of that. But if you find something that's remodeled correctly, even though it might have been built in 1971, that's okay. It's still phenomenal real estate because the land is not going to go down in value. By the way, little tip here. How do you know, if you're looking at a property, how do you know if there's a lot of ways you can figure this out, right? But how do you know, one way, if a property that was flipped was more than likely done well or not? That's interesting, right? I'll give you one little sneak preview. As you're walking through the property, a lot of properties built, yesteryear or remodeled yesteryear have different design palettes, right? Brass was big in the 90s, early 90s, track homes, right? So door handles, hardware, brass, right? So a lot of the flippers will do, they'll go in there and they will, because they're trying to do a really, not good job, a full job, they will go in there and they will change out the door handles and put in, the black, maybe the Aura bronze, maybe the brushed nickel, okay? But check the hinges. I'm telling you guys, that's a big one. Check the door hinges, because a lot of people will do the handles because you're touching them, you're feeling them, you can see them. But the hinges are still brass. If they didn't take the time to actually change out the door hinges to match the color of the door handle, because that's an easy fix and really cheap, they probably didn't take the time to do the flip the correct way, meaning all the stuff you can't see, right? So just a little hack when you're walking through a property that you may want to buy that's been remodeled recently, okay? Nick, thanks for the comment. Ahwatukee. You win, Nick. Hey, here you go. 2 thumbs up. Good job. You spelled it right. We have some guys, and so if you're not from Phoenix, there you go. Great place to live, by the way. South part of Phoenix, kind of cut off from the rest of the population behind South Mountain, and just a phenomenal neighborhood, right? Phenomenal suburb that doesn't really get credit as a suburb because technically the addresses are Phoenix and the zip codes are a Phoenix zip code, but everyone knows it affectionately as Ahwatukee. Okay. All right. Last comment here, and we'll wrap this up. Do you have any inspectors that specialize in homes from T? How you doing? That have been flipped to know to look out for this? Yeah, we do actually. We have a great inspection company, and they do a phenomenal job, and they go through all that stuff. And on a flip property, they will take extra precaution to let you know of certain things like I just mentioned. Another one, while I'm thinking about it real quick, just is very important to do, is to get your main sewer line scoped. Okay, they will put for a nominal fee, $200, somewhere in that ballpark. They will actually scope your main sewer line to see if there's any tree roots going through there, to see if it's still galvanized plumbing, right? To see if it's newer plumbing, whatever it is, and to make sure that you're going to have no disruptions. Because guys, if you didn't know, homeowners insurance typically will not cover a repair that's outside the house. So that main sewer line that runs from your house out to the street underground, if that has a leak, that could cause all kinds of problems, and that is not cheap to fix. We're talking thousands upon thousands to fix that. And if your insurance doesn't cover it, that stinks. So go into the house eyes wide open if you're going to buy a property. And this is things that all of our realtors here are trained to do at Cook & Associates to make sure you have a great experience if you buy a house. Whether it's older or newer, it's a good thing to get done. We also have a company we can work with that can potentially have that done for you, depending on a few variables, for free. Free 99. best price out there, right? All right, guys, that does it for our YouTube Live today. It is a new year. It's 2023. Thank you for joining, and thank you for getting your information at the direct source, because and that's not me. That's just Everything Phoenix channel, because our direct source are the people that really know what they're talking about, right? I'm just out here trying to make it somewhat entertaining for you. All right. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate you. And join us next Thursday. By the way, we might switch this up and go on a weekend coming up here pretty soon. So be on the lookout for any alerts on our YouTube channel for that, and social media for that matter. Might try that out and see if some of you guys might have, might like tuning in on a Saturday where maybe you have a little more free time. I don't know, but we're gonna experiment with that in some different times, like we are right now at noon. So maybe some people get their lunch feel as well. So guys, thank you very much. Really appreciate you, and we'll see you next time.